Hey everybody, we're kicking things off as the Nest finishes their conversation with their Mala Quincy. They inform him a bit about what they found beneath the AIC and Narissa's children, and they also started forming a plan of how to get the Tremere off their back. After that, they decide to go on a search for somebody they've been hired to find, and don't really run into what they expect. Let's see what happens.
Something of note, this is Narissa. We went to investigate the AIC, and underneath there were these beings that were like kindred, I guess, but they were more.
They were Narissa's chilled, but they're touched too.
They're very, very bestial, and we were led to believe that she could see and hear through these thralls of hers.
And they were quite potent.
And they were quite potent. I don't know what that could be.
Well, I'll take a look at Larson's notes on it, because I'm sure that he looked into shit like this. If he brought resources from his people, then more than likely he knows a little more about what's going on. I'm just thankful you guys didn't decide to hook up with him, because that would have been a fucked up shitstorm.
We had no desire to.
So here's what we're going to do. We need to get Yesenia. We need to bag Yesenia.
Okay.
Do you know anybody who owes you
That's
favors that doesn't
easy.
like her?
Well,
Jason doesn't like her, and he likes us a lot.
Yeah, but
we can
from
try
what
and
I know about
convince.
Newberry, he's getting that bad.
He's a wild card.
Do you have anything on him?
Other than that, he's very clearly a Diablerist. I've looked at his soul. The man is stained.
We don't have anything.
Nothing concrete, though.
I mean,
okay.
He still does owe me a minor boon.
I take that back. It would implicate him, but it would also implicate us. He is started an Anarch war with the Camarilla by placing the hand of a missing member of the Anarchs into the old sheriff's band.
Yeah, let's. Sorry, I'm not there.
Let's kind of get the political landscape here. All right. So you're telling me Sabat's in town. You told me that there's some tensions in the court because of the Baali thing and the Paranoid Prince. You're telling me that you started a war with the Anarchs on top of that, and you've got this. Is there anybody you haven't fucking have you called up the Nkanu on the red phone? Said, "Hey guys, come to Chicago." Have you done that yet?
No.
Have you made deals with demons in the city yet?
Yes.
Okay, see, I can't begrudge you that. That's fine. I'm just being facetious. But what the fuck, guys? Did you guys work with the Sabat? About this time, as this is kind of going, he's like, "Did you do this?" He's like, "Come on, guys, what the fuck?" That's when Lamont will get back with the prize, the new food source. You drag this guy in. He's dragging this like 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid in through the door, strung up, still like tied up from the back of the SUV.
I'll stand up and start walking over.
I'll kind of like drag the guy under his arms and kind of let him drop to the ground like a sack of potatoes.
Pick him up. I'll sit in the couch and I'll start feeding.
All right.
Okay. Once you've been, you'll hear as you're feeding from this guy, you'll slake your first hunger, then you'll start working on your second. You'll hear Quincy kind of go, ahem. Sullivan, don't kill him. I'm gonna need him for something.
I'll stop after 2, and I'll lick the wound.
Let's drag him downstairs. I got a question to ask some things.
All right. We'll move the party downstairs.
Yeah, I'll grab the guy again under his, his armpits, and
I'll grab all Larson's. Yeah, I'll grab all Larson's notes, and I'll bring that all down as well to put with the rest of our shit that's all down there.
So you guys go down in the basement, and then you go to your sacrificial chamber. Now, for Lamont, the last couple nights has been incredibly quiet. No vermin have been invading the house. Mm-hmm. It's been weird. It's been quiet, back like it used to be before all the rats and the bugs showed up.
Yeah, like I said, anything that stops or starts suddenly kind of freaks me out. So I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop.
As you guys get into the sacrificial chamber, he looks over at the well, and you see him kind of pause for a sec, then look back at the three of you as you guys are dragging the body down. Who fixed the well?
We did.
Good job.
We used what we had of your provided notes and ritual information,
and good old-fashioned American ingenuity.
You got it.
And a lot of dead bodies, I'm sure.
They were alive when we started.
Couple 2 trees.
They should be. But he'll have you guys position this unconscious poor boy where you guys had done the last one, and you'll see him pull he'll get an athame from some of your implements of your sacrifices down here, and he'll start drawing the ritual circle around him again.
Is he setting up Eyes of Hell?
Yes.
I will assist because I have that ritual as well.
Oh, he's like, "Oh, you learned some stuff.
I did.
Good job." And he actually pats you on the back, and as you guys go about making the circle, you do the casting. The poor immortal gets killed, obviously, as you guys call up a demon to inhabit its body. So essentially, as the demon comes up and inhabits this physical form, the soul gets devoured by that beast, and you hear it kind of shudder to life. Quincy sits very patiently outside the circle. I have a question, and you'll hear that trio of voices as usual. What do you want? I want to know if there's anybody in the hierarchy of this city that would potentially want this Salubri dead. And you'll hear a chuckle from the demon. Let me see. And you guys will feel the room sort of get a little bit warm as the runes that have been inscribed with the blood onto the floor start to glow heatedly, as if this thing's trying to break out. But it's testing it almost. Sullivan, you know enough about this right to know that they will test it from time to time. This one's really pushing. After a couple moments of that happening and you smell that like smoldering blood on the floor, that smell starts to fade. The body falls completely like a puppy with its strings cut onto the ground within the circle. And you'll see Quincy just kind of like, all right, now we wait, I guess. Shouldn't be more than a minute or so. Have you done this one yet yourself?
I have.
Good.
I've also learned the last one that you showed, Sense of Burning Path. And I've used that as well.
Good. As his last word kind of breaks the air, you'll hear that shuddering again, and the corpse will kind of stagger its way back up to sitting up. And he'll just say, Alexa. And then it'll start to crumble again into the circle. And as it hits the ground, you'll see the eyes start to blacken and burn. And that smoke kind of billows up into the sacrificial chamber down here. And it just goes inert. Quincy's kind of like, do you know who that is?
That's the Scourge.
Apparently she's got an interest
Scourge
in
and the
wanting
Hound
her
are
dead.
not happy. Well, that's good to know, because I definitely wasn't aware of that.
Well, that's a recruitment target to see if they want to help take the Salubri down. Do they know what she is?
We have no way of knowing right now. Depending on how that hatred arose, if she wants her dead, she might, or they might, I should say.
Well, it's a plan. It's definitely a starting point. I'll put the feelers out to see about a trade for a Salubri in the city in exchange for a large favor and see if DuSable bites at all. But I'm going to have to head out for a while, make some contacts, and go from there. Can you guys be okay alone for the night?
We've been okay this far.
No blowing up any houses, starting any sect wars.
Not making any promises.
Summoning demons again. All right.
I'll just gesture down to the sheet full of books and be like, whatever of Larson's you need to take with you.
I don't
Obviously,
need any Larson shit.
Right?
I need Larson shit right now.
I'll just stash it with the rest of our shit.
All right. I'm going to go make some phone calls, do some shit. You guys do what you need to do. But I'll be back.
Was there a determination of what it is that we need to do while I was gone? Just so I don't.
Whatever you all
you
decide to
don't
do, I'm going to handle this Tremere angle for you and kind of put the feelers out to see about getting Yesenia. You'll have to do the legwork, but I can make the connection there and make sure that it's a good exchange. Yeah?
Okay.
But I'm going to go make some phone calls, call on some support perhaps, and go from there. But I'll be back.
All right.
And he'll just leave the chamber and start heading up the stairs to the main level of the house.
No, you told him about the whole deception demon thing?
I knew we forgot something. Fuck.
Yeah, no, we mentioned it. We
did mention it.
He asked if we made deals on demons. We said yeah, and he said that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Well, just for Nate, the ritual he just did is making a short-term deal with a demon. It's a brief
Demon,
exchange.
right?
Yeah, I feel like it's different.
Yeah, that demon, when it dies, it goes back to hell. But when mine is over, that thing is free for the next probably 100 years or so.
This is probably true.
Till it runs out of essence, it has
Or
to go back to hell for a bit.
Yeah, forever. I don't know.
You'll hear the upstairs door open and close, and Quincy heads out.
So what's the plan for tonight?
Aside from what we've already done, you want more?
Well, I don't know if there's any. I'll just look down at look at Preston. Is there any Elysiums, any events happening tonight? I thought something was coming up potentially.
Well, if we want to make 100 grand, we could.
We can look for Viserys. I can find him relatively quickly.
Well, then get on with it, my man.
Yeah, all I know is southwest side of the city. That's all I know.
Well, let's head that general direction first, but I am definitely going to need a body. And
Just
not
like
this one.
I need a fresh one, guys. We need a new
Right.
one. So
We
you guys
could
are
always
heading
go back. We could always go back to that alley, see if those two are still passed out. We can grab one of them.
What alley?
The one where we
No.
fed.
You don't return to the scene of the crime.
All right.
long have
I'm
you
just
been
I'm
kindred?
trying to I'm just trying to make it easy here. That's all.
No, you're trying to make. Oh no.
Wow.
What do you need a body for?
To perform a ritual, so that way
kind
we
of-
can find.
Are you gonna
It's
call?
similar.
Are you gonna call a demon? And
Yes.
that's the demon where he's at.
No, I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna follow the direction, like I did when we found.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
You need that only traces mystical shit, remember? Like you guys used that to trace the tether from that soul of sacrifice to find the main one that it was tethered to.
Yes, I
That
actually
traces
understand.
mystical shit. You need to do
Oh.
if you want to ask the demon, if you want to get information to find out where he is, the quickest route would be summoning a demon like Quincy just did and
Right.
saying, where is he? Where is this kindred? And then you'll get an answer. Because remember, it's one answer for a question.
Right. We either way we need a body. I forgot that that's just tied to mystical shit. Like we could probably find the chantry with that fucking ritual. Where's the main chantry in Chicago? All right.
You could, but it doesn't protect
Okay.
you from
I-
what you
I,
find
No,
there.
not at all.
I have illuminate the trail of prey.
Yeah. No, that's probably easier to do than to summon a
Yeah.
demon. in a
So
circle
I mean,
again.
if that's okay, if we've
Yeah, I'm fine
interacted
with
with him,
that.
because we did, weren't we given a picture of the guy anyways? No,
no.
we couldn't because he's a
we were
Lysander.
given
How the
we
fuck
were
is
given a
Lysander?
description
Yeah,
from
But
the Setite.
Lamont remembers having met very, very briefly the rabbi at an Elysium, probably around the time that you guys were going for the bonfire. Maybe you brushed into him actually at that bonfire when you guys took Damien's car.
Fair.
Maybe he was in the crowd.
I distinctly remember that.
So, let's check
Yeah,
out
let me-
this ritual, sir. You successfully cast the ritual, and you see that the cloth starts to burn. And as that smoke fades away, you start seeing this trail from where you're at stretch off towards the main part of the city, down towards downtown.
Okay. I'll grab my jacket and I'll kind of like, am I driving or somebody else?
I can drive. You just have to tell me where I'm going. Obviously,
I know.
But yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Oh, I guess we'll take the goose chase at this point and try to follow this trail and see where it leads us.
Not a problem at all. You guys head out to the Lexus. You start it up. You head off into the evening. As you're driving, traffic is much lighter than it has been over the weekend. It's actually kind of slowing up, probably because there's so much police presence in the city that people are driving a bit more cautiously or just staying off the roads altogether. Might be a side effect of the terrible shit that's been going down. As you guys get closer towards downtown, as you pass River North and you cross the river to go downtown, you start traveling towards familiar roads. And you're realizing that you're being led to a certain hotel.
Oh shit!
It's under the Hyatt Place downtown, is where you guys get led to.
Okay.
The steps go directly to the Hyatt Place through one of the back service entrances.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll tell you to find a parking spot because
Really done.
Isn't this where
it's in the loop.
Sullivan? Isn't this where you told the demon to go?
He's in this area somewhere. Yes,
Okay.
he is.
That's just something to be aware of.
Okay. Well, this is also where the individual we're searching for seems to be.
Which means he might be one of two things. He's either a sacrifice or he's now part of Nervous's brood.
There's a lot of missing people in the city. Wonder if they're all here.
Well, that lends the question, how do we wish to proceed?
Well, one of two things. We can pursue and see what we see, or we can call the individual that gave us this bounty and just point him in this direction.
We haven't verified.
That's true.
We haven't verified visually. So I'm going to have to use my better judgment here. And if someone's willing to give us a large quantity of cold cash, we need at least visual verification of that individual's presence here or demise.
Yep.
Because otherwise we're going to have to explain how we found this place. And that might be a bit difficult.
Fair.
You know, 3 times is hard to explain. We were just investigating, but like it's going to become a pattern. So I say we visually verify. Now, I'm more than happy to resort to any number of tricks.
All right. Well, we can try and sneak for now till we get closer.
Well, yeah, we need to get into the Hyatt there. So here's what I suggest. Ray, that back door, kind of like a service exit or?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you can see like by a loading area, etc. Looks like they brought him in through the back.
Okay. Well, would it be possible for us to kind of like find a place to hide and keep an eye on that door? Because like my plan would be wait for an employee to come out and have a cigarette and then like kind of trick them into letting us in or sneaking in where they can't see us. But if nobody comes out and that's being used exclusively for some sort of nefarious backdoor behavior, obviously that's not going to be the way to get in.
You guys can find a spot where you can get a good eye on the back door, definitely.
If possible, I'd like to be off of street level so that we're not immediately, like, I don't know what, like if there's a parking garage nearby or anything that we could see the door from. But that would be like, my design would be to find a place that's like close enough where I could get there quickly, but like high enough out of sight where we're not going to be spotted.
Okay. You guys managed to make it to a spot where you have a good unobstructed line of sight, but it's harder to see you guys from. Once you're there, over time, slowly the footsteps start to fade from Lamont's sight. They're just slightly there. It's hard to see them entirely, but you can see it.
But they don't they don't like come out the front or something.
No. He looks like he was taken in there or went in there and just has not come out.
Okay.
I can try and, I mean, there's probably a camera, which is the shitty part, but I can try and pick the lock real quick.
I mean, we could just go in the front and rent a
are you
room.
Going to sit back and watch, or are you guys going to try to make entrance?
So my goal was to sit back and watch for like at least an hour. Like if somebody comes out, I want to try to like use that opportunity to sneak in. But if nobody comes out, then, you know, the best, you know, and I'll relay this to both of you. The best bet, if no one comes out this door, might just be to go in the front and rent a room. You know, I mean, there's only, none of us are cat burglars. So if there's anyone really trying to prevent us from entering in here, it's going to be a moot point. But
right,
it is a hotel and it is in the city.
I want to give a little bit of pushback here. You guys have stolen bodies. You have planted evidence. You guys have done some shit.
Be that as it may. I mean, I'm just saying.
Do we know whose hotel this is? Like, who controls it? Is this a?
I imagine the Hyatt Corporation.
We know the
Well,
Scourge.
yeah, I mean.
Oh no, not the Scourge. One of your old contacts was here. I forgot her name. The gangrel, the one that we had.
Like the one that I killed.
Yep. This is where she had us meet her. I think twice, actually.
No, you guys met her at the Palmer House or the Drake, one of the two, if I recall.
Maybe. We came here for something other than the well, I thought.
You have never been to this hotel aside from the well.
Oh, okay.
You guys are always going to, I'm pretty sure it's to the Palmer
I was
House.
wrong.
That's where you guys got the Bahari room, essentially.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
So yeah, you guys came here and found the massive well down like almost Warren's level beneath it.
All right. So you're saying that the path leads in this door, and
Is
then
it
that's
possible to roll a politics to see if anybody has a domain over here?
Seems
How
like they
many
have a really
politics
good
dots you
continental
got?
breakfast.
What'd you say? Rick?
How many dots of politics do you have?
I only have one.
Make a roll. Wits politics. If you get one, you will have a pretty good idea.
Got two.
You got two. Nobody. This isn't anybody's domain.
All right. Well, this isn't anybody's domain in particular, so
Well, then,
short of the
you know,
prince, obviously being in Chicago, but
As Sullivan says that, you guys hear a motorcycle kind of pulling this back way behind the hotel itself. And as it pulls off, it parts by one of the dumpsters. And a well-built gentleman gets off. I'd say probably a guy who worked out pretty regularly in his mortal life. As he pulls the helmet off, you'll see a ring of Chinese character tattoos across his neck. And he puts the helmet on the handlebars of the motorcycle. You see him pop his neck. But for all of you, you notice he's not breathing as he starts walking towards that back door.
I would like to use my aura perception. I'm kidding. I don't have that. That's not a thing. I would like to use my senses, my heightened senses, to keep a close eye on what he does. I.e., if he punches in a code in a door or something, I want to try to see that.
Yeah, he'll walk up to the back door, and you'll see him kind of hit the keypad that's there for the lock, like right above the doorknob. And you'll see him punch in a couple of digits. You'll get what you're pretty sure is the sequence. Mm-hmm. The door will like click, and he'll walk in the back. Jeff, since you got a 2 on your politics, it wasn't related to this, but kind of like you're already in that mindset thinking about whose territory is this, etc., and who you know in the city. You recognize this guy as a gangrel who goes by the name of Lulu.
Okay. Is he known for anything in particular, or he's just a member of the city?
Not in your circles that you guys have been here. He's got some ties to somebody who has ties to the wolf pack, kind of.
I'll relay that to both of them, obviously, of who that is and his potential ties to the wolf pack.
Okay.
Not directly, but indirectly through somebody else.
Well,
yeah, he knows
regardless,
somebody. It's whispers.
Yeah, I'm not looking to engage that individual in any sort of like fisticuffs. But I am gonna do some cool vampire shit and like hop down, engage my silence and like, do the whole I'm a vampire thing.
Blech.
Sorry.
I'm gonna unseen that shit and I'm gonna follow.
You guys will make it to the door. Is Preston gonna follow as well?
I'm gonna pull a Laszlo and yell "bat" and transform into a bat and fly up to the roof and watch. No, yeah, I'll just get out of the car and be like, yeah, okay, cool.
I was waiting for the moment in the game where Preston forgot what game he was in again. I thought we would come back and we were playing a different game. So you guys make it over and get into the door. I assume Lamont's going to try to punch in the code that he saw.
Yes.
It takes you once or twice. The first one, you thought you had it, but it doesn't quite click over. But then you try a rearrangement of the characters, and it clicks. It unlocks the door.
Okay. I'll open it and hold it for everybody else.
You pull the door open, and you guys can see it's just a back service hallway here. And off to the side, like not that far from this back door, there's a stairwell that goes down. And on the other side, there's like it looks like a cargo elevator. Because you have like literally like right next to this door is where the supply trucks would back up.
All right.
Okay, Ray, I know this is going to sound dumb and meaningless and pointless, but I truly think this is the best option. This is like all a service area, right?
Yep.
I'm going to look for a spider.
I love the last time you did this in the mid of winter, looking for a spider. Right. Back here, you actually walk in like a supply closet. You just kind of peek in, then you see the employee bathroom, and you can find like a small little like wolf spider in a corner.
Okay. I'll scoop it up and pull a vial from my coat and crush it into. Well, no. So I'm going to actually utilize the ritual climbing of the insect because I feel like most cameras aren't pointed at the ceiling, and since I do not have any way to be unseen, if I'm simply up above and silent.
Good call. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna make you roll for the ritual. It just takes a couple minutes. You step into the supply closet, for example, cast a ritual, it goes off. I just need you to do your rouse check really quick.
Sure. I did not succeed.
You do get a little hunger by the end of the ritual, but it works. Like you go and give it a test, you can feel yourself cling to this wall and then like up on the ceiling without an issue.
So at this point, I will cling tightly to the ceiling, and I will commit. I don't know where Jeff is, obviously, because you went into Unseen Presence, right? Sullivan.
Correct.
Okay. And then I don't remember, Sean, does your character have Unseen Presence or?
He has hide behind pole.
Yeah, I've hide behind pole.
So I'll like, indicate to you, like you take the hall, and I'll just start walking up the wall. So I'll literally do the spider climb thing. And
it's creepy, Preston. No matter how many times you see him do this shit, it's just weird. because he's now like on the ceiling, like skittering across. It's fucked up. Luckily, not leaving any footprints. Yeah, and he makes no sound whatsoever. Like, no sound.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my life as you walk down this hallway. Now, as you guys emerge from this like probably 20 or 30 foot long little service hall here, you get into the back area. You can see it's like a storage and like unloading area. But what strikes you right off the bat is there's like this semi-translucent plastic that's been put up, sheet plastic that's been put up by the entrances to this back area, and like some caution tape that's been strung across it. You can see there's people have deliberately stacked things like parts of scaffolding and some buckets and shit and like a shop vac by that entrance to make it look like there's construction back here. But a quick glance, there is no construction here.
I will be following where Nate's going, basically.
Okay, so not on the ceiling. So
Right.
it looks like they set up to have people think there's construction back here to keep people away. You can hear the hustle and bustle of people, various employees, maybe in the kitchen and a little bit further in the distance. That's kind of like filtering through that plastic. You do smell dust in the air. They definitely have like some old bags of concrete back here that are just kind of sitting around, but there's clearly no construction here. The service elevator looks like it's been sent down. There's a little bit of blood like on the edge of the elevator, like the little edge that goes down by the doorway. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be anybody else in here. And as Lamont's kind of crawling around the ceiling, taking a look, all the cameras that are in this area, like pointing back towards the dock area and towards this hallway, they've been unplugged.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to continue to be paranoid, but I will.
Right.
If I don't know if the two of them can see me, but I'll like kind of point, from my bizarro world upside down perspective that those cameras are, not. It doesn't seem that they're functional. Is it possible from my position to reach that blood?
You can crawl down the wall right next to the elevator entrance and see it and touch it if you want to do taste.
Yeah, I would like to.
You reach down, you kind of crawl down the side, and it's really fucked up for Preston because now he's like against the wall but facing the floor as he reaches down and touches a bit of that blood and puts it to his tongue. I'm not going to make you roll for the taste. It's mortal blood right off the bat. It's a lot of it, though. It's like it seems like there's... Because you all have Bloodhound, if I'm not mistaken. It tastes like at least 4 or 5 different people were contributing to the little like splattering of blood that's on the floor.
Okay.
I'm also paranoid, so I'm going to try and utilize my Auspex power of Sense the Unseen to see if there's anybody creeping around that isn't us.
Okay. You peer around and you kind of get that weird vague haze around where Sullivan's at. So you kind of get a general awareness of where he is. But as you sweep the rest of the room, you don't see anything that's hidden. But you do start feeling as you extend your senses into the area that from down below, not that far away, something mystical has been used. Some ritual has been cast on something on there. And it feels, having been around it, it feels like there's wards down there at this point.
Like down the service elevator, you're saying?
Yeah, it looks like it just, the elevator itself is not on this floor. But it seems like either the elevator itself or the keypad or something involving that space has been warded somehow.
Now, does the path lead to this elevator?
Yeah, the trail does lead to that elevator.
Okay. I'll give the two of you the like eyeball and point to the elevator. Like obviously, no shit. That's where the trail leads. But since none of you can hear me, I'll give my vague concept of what a military like. Hey, I see you right here.
Yeah. I'll say, quietly, but enough to where they'd be able to hear wards. Not sure what kind.
I will look for where I would put Ward for Schools or Ward for Kindred. If it's going towards this elevator, it's probably somewhere either around the elevator or just on the inside of the elevator.
Well, the elevator's not on this floor.
Well, that sucks.
You can call it.
I could, but that would break my obfuscate.
You know what? I will. I have fucking Cloak of Shadows, so I will call the elevator up.
No. If
You're
he walks
breaking
to the elevator, if he walks to the elevator, I'll start waving my hands like.
It's so weird. He's got his feet and his knees are on the ceiling. He's like, no, waving like, stop.
Okay, I will stop.
Yeah, I'll drop the silence because obviously there's no cameras up here. There's nobody back here, but I'll whisper, if you press the call button, they're going to know someone's up here. The car hasn't returned. So that's kind of like us pressing the elevator button is going to alert whoever's down there. But I have another idea.
Okay.
Do I feel any kind of like oddness as I crawl towards the elevator doors again?
Nope.
I'd like to rouse to try to open the elevator doors.
Sure. Go ahead and roll your rouse to send that strength to your undead limbs for more power. You do not get any hungrier as your limbs get stronger, and you pull the door open.
Sorry, yeah, I think I hit it twice.
Well, you succeeded
I
twice.
succeeded
which is
both. Yeah, I
hilarious.
succeeded both times.
So you only do one rouse. We're going to throw the other one away, but
that's
you
fine.
managed to pull the door open and can get inside of the shaft essentially. And you can see probably 2 or 3 floors down is where the elevator is stopped.
Yeah, and I'll kind of like start climbing down the shaft.
Okay. You climb inside the wall, get to the top of the elevator. You got the emergency hatch that you can pop open and just take a peek. You look in. You don't feel any sort of discomfort. But you have been around enough wars and you've recognized some of the wars that Sullivan has done. And mind you, most of the time the blood kind of fades. But you have sense unseen, do you not?
Yeah.
Okay. You can detect that the ward that's on the elevator floor itself is not against kindred. It's probably against either ghouls or mortals
Okay.
to keep them from coming in the elevator to go down.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'll look up and be like, we're good.
I'm going to, since I'm still unseen, I'll just literally reach over and grab the ladder, and I'll just descend on the ladder because pretty much everyone has a ladder.
Right. You'll
Fucking
just descend
thing is
inside
ladder.
for fire rescue and maintenance. You'll descend down the inside of the elevator shaft, leaving Preston alone.
I've only ever been in movie elevator shafts, and none of them have ladders. So
I will follow down the damn ladder.
So you guys all get to the top of the elevator. Lamont has the hatch open. You guys don't feel any sort of discomfort. At this point, Preston can realize kind of what it's either a ward ghoul or a ward mortals. It's not something that affects you guys.
yeah. So at this point, I'm gonna I'll open that all the way, and I'll kind of like swing down into the elevator, and then just kind of like a spider, just stick to the top of the elevator.
What a fucking creeper.
So the doors are closed. You can use that other route to open these doors if you want to.
Hey, you know what? Why not? You guys
Sure.
stay up there, and I'll enable my silence again so that there's no noise. Of course, I think that's just free, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'll try to make strong.
Well, you
I will
already
not
got the
make
other
strong.
one on the route, so I'm fine. You could have that success. So you push the door open, and you get this weird view from the ceiling of the elevator. And you're looking down an old hallway. There's a flickering light down at the end. It looks like this has got the concrete floor and those cinder block walls that you guys have seen before in these basements. And it looks like there's a red light coming from the far end of the hallway. It's a small room in this area. Looks like it was for loading stuff into this like sub basement for storage, because you can smell dust in the air and kind of see out of the light that's coming from inside of the elevator and the hallway. Looks like there's a bunch of furniture down here with sheets over it. But you do see a couple splatterings of blood like heading off down that hallway that you see straight ahead.
Okay. Does the trail
Is going out this
illuminated
direction. Yep. Down towards the darkness at the end of the
Okay.
hall.
I'll just leave the elevator and then maintain my position above and just wait for them to leave the elevator or Sean's character essentially.
Yeah, you guys can get down and into that room without issue at all. There's nothing down here that really looks like anybody can see you.
All right.
Works for
Then,
me.
yeah, we'll head down.
And you guys start making your way down the hallway. As you start getting towards the end of that hallway, you pass the flickering light. For Lamont, you have to kind of go around the light itself, but it casts weird shadows for Sullivan and Preston as you're walking. As he moves around this light that's on the ceiling, it's just fucked up and weird. You make it towards the end of the hallway, and it kind of careens off to the right, and the walls get far, far more in disrepair. The paint's peeling. You get the smell of mildew. You hear dripping pipes farther down, and you see this looks like chain link fence has been put up with a sign on it that says, danger, do not pass. And there's like an old padlock on it, but the padlock's not locked. It's just kind of hooking this chain together to hold it shut. and the trail is going through that.
Okay. I'll point at the fence and be like, goes, motion in that direction.
Carefully remove the chain and slide the door open.
As you guys start going through this more, I guess, almost collapsed like walkways, essentially. The walls are like got holes in them here and there. There's definitely not been painting these walls for a long, long time. The smells are getting more intense down here. The trail that Lamont's following goes straight down this direction. After like maybe 20 or 30 minutes, you guys run into an area of tunnels that are very familiar to you for those that came down here before. You start descending down into the place where the well's at. You start getting further and further down beneath the city as
I think all of us were down here.
I wasn't.
I think so.
You weren't? I thought you were with us.
But you start getting to the point where the worked and like actual cement and concrete walls and floors start to give way to like more roughly hewn and like just places in disrepair. Some of it's the stone and the concrete's been cracked and nobody's come down here to fix it. It's just getting worse and worse until you're finally in like these almost pseudo tunnels essentially. You go further into the sub basement and you come upon the entrance to this large room. Now, for those that were down here before, you recognize this is the room where the fucking well's at. For Lamont, you get down here, the trail leads directly to one of several cages, 13 to be exact, that have been put up, almost like pseudo Iron Maidens, but they're completely like exposed. It's just the outline and like wrought iron. Mm-hmm. And you see several kindred, looks like, in these cages already that are around this circle, probably about 20 feet back from the massive well.
Does it look like our guy is in one of these cages?
The trail goes directly to one. You see a figure that matches his description, dressed in a black suit. You can see the long gray beard and the curls and the sideburns, and he's unconscious. Looks like he has a shaft of wood shoved into his chest.
Yeah.
How many other cages are full? Like, are they all 13 full already?
No. What you see right now. Do you guys remember the first game session where you came by the yacht club and Narissa was talking to that Hakata member?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's here in one.
Yeah.
You see somebody you don't recognize in one because you haven't met her yet, but she matches the description of the Ashira that went missing.
Okay.
She's in a cage. You see.
I have her in my notes.
You see a member of the ministry named Alec Romus de Leon. He's in a cage. And you see also Leanne Miller is in a cage, who's a Bruja, and the La Sombra. So there's Alec from the ministry, Leanne from the Bruja, the Ashira that you guys heard about going missing, the diplomat's childer, and then you got the rabbi. So there's 4 people down here right now.
Okay. I'm going to briefly look to Sean's character and just kind of like give him the like, what do you think?
Now, the area down here is actually lit by torches. As weird as it fucking sounds, they have torches into the walls. And like this whole area is huge. It's easily 100 feet wide. They got torches in the walls. They're casting this like yellowish red illumination on the entire area. You don't see anybody else in here currently outside of the 4 that are in some of these cages. You do hear movement. Seems like coming from a corridor that's on the other side of the well. But there only seem to be 2 entrances. 3 exits.
If I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, for her to do this ritual, she needs one of each clan.
From what you read in Larson's book, yes.
Larson's book, that's right.
So, my immediate instincts tell me to crawl across the ceiling to where where the guy we're looking for is, and just like reach in and unstake him. Because I feel like he could probably get himself out if he didn't have a stake in his chest. But does he look like he's been like drained of his blood? Like what condition does he
He
look
has
like
not
he's
been
in?
drained of his blood. It looks like they probably surprised him and just shoved a hunk of wood in his chest.
Okay. So I'll signal to Preston. I'll again give you like the eyeball thing, and I'll start crawling slowly across the area to get to where he's hanging from.
Well, they're not hanging. So these cages are literally like, they're pretty much stuck standing up straight with their arms to their sides. It's like an Iron Maiden situation, right? Where it's just this iron, like.
I for some reason I felt they
mesh.
were like wrought iron cages hanging from the ceiling.
That's kind of
No,
the vision
like,
I had too.
yeah, no, sorry. They're standing up and they've got them forced to stand up straight in these things.
Okay.
Okay.
So we could just walk up to these cages and open them, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
Do all of them look
Yeah.
staked, or are they some in various
assume,
stages of torpor?
So from where you're at, a quick glance, you can see stakes in pretty much everybody's chest, but you can't really get a good examination of what kind of condition unless you actually go to them and take a look. Basiris is easy because he's like the closest one to you guys.
Okay. That's not really gonna. I'm gonna. You said that there was like some movement or like some sound coming from.
Yeah,
Like
where you have the well, you guys come out facing like say from the south end. There's a north entrance, there's a east entrance, and a west entrance. There's 4 entrances to this particular sacrificial chamber, essentially.
Okay.
And there's sound coming from the north.
I'm still going. I'm gonna keep my eyes dialed in on that area, and slowly try to make my way to where dude is like stood up. And my goal is to just like sneak and hopefully whatever's over there doesn't notice my movement, and try to like unhook.
As you get closer across the ceiling's probably, I'd say, 8 to 9 feet up. So honestly, whittling of the insect, you could stand on the ceiling and reach down and do it without an issue. You get over towards him and you start hearing like muffled voices coming from that direction. You don't recognize them. For Lamont, it sounds like these people are either in the thrall of their beast or they got some sort of speech impediment that they're sounding very guttural, very like, yes, I'm hungry. Like this really like rough sounding voice. And it's just chittering.
Things.
There's like 3 or 4 of them among each other, just like chattering back and forth. And then you hear a woman's voice, which you do recognize as Narissa, say, quiet. Food will be here shortly. So
they're probably like a true Norwegian black metal band is what you're getting at. Well, since I know it's her and I hear her voice, it's not going to deter me, but I'm still going to like try to like very quietly, very slowly, just sort of like reach down, kind of defiant of gravity and God's will, and try to undo the cage, and then of course remove the stake.
So there are probably 2 like basically like twists that you unscrew to kind of open up so that the cage front can kind of swing on its hinges, and the seam is like literally halfway across it, like it cuts it in half directly. So once you open the side, it would just swing open essentially. The stake is not that difficult. You reach down, you stand on the ceiling and kind of undo both the screws, kind of pop it open where you can feel it kind of swing over and creak just a small bit, like and it's like an inch open. Then you manage to get in and reach through one of the holes and grab the stake and rip it out of his chest. Now, you know that when you pull the stake free, he's going to pop 2 almost right away.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to just pull and come up to the ceiling immediately so you're out of line of sight? Or okay.
Absolutely.
Roll your dex and stealth.
Dex and stealth is okay.
Yep. You need at least one success to get out of his line of sight before his eyes open and he snaps to.
My dexterity and my stealth.
2. All right. So both hunger dice too. Not that it matters. It's just funny. You rip the stake free and you feel it kind of just scrape across his ribs because it feels like they actually broke through one to get to his heart, as you would need to do. And as it scrapes through his bone and pulls out through the cage, you splatter a little bit of his blood across the floor and you get right back up to the ceiling. And you hear this like sudden like rage erupt from this rabbi's throat. Like his beast has come straight to the fore. It seems like when he got attacked, his beast had just come out and it got staked. So when he gets unstaked, the beast is still right the fuck there. And as soon as that cage like gets pushed at by his hands, he throws that door open. You hear it just ring and just slam back against itself, and the area erupts into blackness.
Unstaked La Sombra for the win. That's why I didn't want to be in that motherfucker's field of view.
So you're on the ceiling, like right up against it.
Fucking
Since
A-bombs.
his goal was more like out and about as opposed to full spherical nature. You're actually just outside of the Shroud of Night. You can see that like moving darkness probably about 5 or 6 inches below you. It's like this weird black sea. And as you stand there, you see it start to move slowly, and tendrils kind of start to snap out of it, and they start going to crush the torches on the walls. So as the first two go out,
since I'm an unseen, I'm going to make my way over, obviously not through the pit, but around to the Bruja.
Let's just hope he don't see you moving and want to fucking smash you.
Yeah, let's hope to God.
I'm gonna be trying to utilize Cloak of Shadows.
okay,
Stand perfectly
it's going to
still.
be your wits plus obfuscate, Jeff.
Yep. Got two solid. I'm okay with 2.
Not bad, not bad.
Hopefully this whole frenzy ass fucking crazy ass Asambra doesn't get more than 2. Ray was expecting this shit. He's already got his character sheet and everything.
No
Just
modifiers.
to show us.
3.
Fuck you.
So you got a 2, he got a 3. His beast senses your
Can I
presence.
use a willpower to re-roll my failed?
Yes, you can.
I don't want to get fucking spotted, man. At least give me 1 so we tie. Oh, I'm not even there.
You got a 1.
We tied. Okay. That's the best I can do right now.
So you make your way to the Bruja as this field of blackness starts to spread, and it's literally right outside of where you're at.
Okay.
Now, what's more is this sudden noise has called attention, obviously. And
absolutely.
you'll see 3 of those creatures you guys saw down below, the AIC, come bounding down that north hallway and into this area. And they're wiry, kind of deformed as you remember seeing them. And they're down, hunched over the floor like just ravenous beasts. And their eyes, as they glow, look into the darkness. And they start hissing at it.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm going to unstake the Bruja.
Which will pop your obfuscate.
Oh, yes, it will. Fuck me.
I mean, you can do it.
Right.
But you would
I
know
don't
this.
if I want
You would know
to.
this.
I'm literally going to stand still, basically using the body right now as my cover. I need to see what happens here. I was hoping to do it before those things come bounding out.
So
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
another torch gets extinguished. As you guys see that Gangrel, who had walked into it, start coming down that hallway. He's like, what the fuck is this shit? The rest of that Lasambra motherfucker got free somehow. And you see those beasts kind of leap into the shroud as the 4th torch gets extinguished. You have 1 torch here before you're in complete darkness.
Okay.
Do you want to leave, or are you going to stay? Because it seems like the French and the Sambra's whole goal is to put this place in complete darkness and then fuck up whatever's inside.
Right. I'm just debating if I want to yank the stake out of the Bruja and chance the Bruja not being in torpor before I try to bounce out, so that way they have 2 fucking problems. Not
To
just
give
one.
it to give it the benefit of the doubt, though, 1, fuck that Bruja. 2, if that Bruja frenzies and now we have the Lasambra and the Bruja fighting each other because neither of them are rational.
That's true.
Like, if we leave and we leave the Lasambra to do his business.
That's true. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to get the fuck out of that.
Okay. So you guys going back into the tunnel you guys came from?
That's the only way out, right?
Well, there's
There's
4 ways
4.
out. 1 each cardinal direction, essentially.
Whichever way the spider is climbing is what I'm following.
The only way that I would know to go.
You can't see
honestly,
him.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
that's
the
right.
Shroud of Night is like literally 6 inches beneath
Okay.
him. So
I'll
you
try
can't
and go-
you can't even see Lamont at this point.
I'll go back the way we came because that's the way I know how to get. We've been down that place twice now. So
You've been down that way once. That's a different entrance from the way you came in last time. You came through a different set of service tunnels down here.
Yeah, we've now gotten down here 2 different ways.
2 different
Yep.
ways. Okay. Well,
I'm gonna go back the way we came.
Because the
yeah,
last time you guys
this
came in,
is
you
the
came in
best
from the
way.
front door. You walked in, got to a service back door, and came
Yep.
down from the other side
That's
of the building.
right.
So
Down
actually, you
and
guys came
unseen.
from the north end.
the same way we came would probably be the best way
Okay.
for now.
Yeah.
So you head back the way you came. Is Lamont going to stick around, or are you heading back to?
I'm gonna stick around.
Okay. So the last torch, as Sullivan and Preston get to the edge of that area where you guys came in the tunnel, was just the dimmest amount of light. The last torch inside this area gets extinguished by a tendril as you hear this like ravenous like growling back and forth inside the shroud. It's plunged in complete darkness. It's pitch black down here at this point. There's a little bit of light towards the northern tunnel at the end of it, and there's a little bit of light back from where you came. The violence seems to escalate tremendously. You hear blows land that seem to reverberate through the walls and the ceiling that you're on. But it's very quick. You just hear like a one punch, like somebody's punching a garbage bag filled with like a broken watermelon. That weird like crunch and squish. Then a growl in return, and you'll hear something get slammed and skittering back, north of where you're at. Then you'll hear something slam against one of the other like wrought iron cages. Then another sound of that massive blow being struck. A howl of pain and rage mixture, like very feral in nature. And then you'll hear the rending of iron as one or at least two of these cages around you get rent out of their moorings from the floor and hurled somewhere like further north of you. You hear them clatter to the ground, and then you hear like another, like a rapid just boom, 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 like punches striking that weird like watermelon garbage bag. It's so wonderful. And then silence, except for the couple here and there of small growls of like success. Then you feel this like sudden absence in the room as the shroud dissipates.
Okay. What is left in the aftermath?
You can't see. It's pitch black.
Can I use my heightened senses?
You can start to see outlines at that point from the little bit of light that's coming down that northern hallway. The rabbi has been torn in two. Like, and his body looks weird.
So he looks dead?
He looks done. You can't really see like much in terms of decomposition at this point because you're just getting that outline. It's like different shades of black in the air from the very minuscule light. But you can see that one of those creatures that came and attacked him, one of Narissa's kids, it literally got crushed between this mangled bit of two wrought iron like cages. It's been just completely pierced and impaled all over its body. Unfortunately, the kindred, which was the Ashira that was inside one of those cages, got crushed as well. You can see she's in that gray. It's starting to get more and more ephemeral as she's ashing, essentially.
Okay.
You do also see that a moderately built individual is on its back, not moving, probably struck in the torpor. But the other two creatures that are actually able to move around, they're slowly kind of circling around the rent and asunder body.
Okay. The body of the rabbi, or
Yes.
Okay. And I don't see Narissa or Gangrel anywhere.
You can assume that Gangrel's on the floor. He's that moderate build individual that you can see just in the blackness. You can't get really so much detail, but you don't see anything that resembles Narissa's silhouette moving in the darkness.
Okay. This is real fucking risky. But my intent is to scale down the wall, and sticking very close to the floor. Unless I could reach from where I'm at on the ceiling, I don't think I can. I'm trying to grab something of like belonging to the rabbi. Like something like, just an article of clothing, or like, his yarmulke, or like anything, so that I could like, so I could prove like he's destroyed and this belonged to him.
Okay. I am going to need you to roll your dex and stealth.
Yeah, I figured.
We got 4 dice, Nate.
Well, how many of you guys think I should?
I think you should use fucking all of them. Actually,
All right, fair enough. Do you
I don't want to lose
with
that.
I want $100,000.
I mean, that's true. I do too. I was thinking
Using-
more along the lines of.
I guess I'll use them.
You're using all 6? Okay.
Oh, we have 6.
4.
Yeah, I'll
okay.
use 4.
Leaving you guys at 2.
Okay, and let me roll because I didn't know where to put the fucking dice in.
No problem. So those 2 10s, that's a crit
There's
already.
2 10s. Yeah, so it's already 4.
It's already 5. Each one counts as 2
Oh,
if you get 2.
well, there you go.
Wow.
There's a 9
8.
and a 10. So, yeah, the 2. Now I have 2 10s.
You have 3 10s.
Yeah.
You have 3 10s now. Yeah, so that's 1, 3. The 2 creatures don't even spot you. As you reach down, they seem more concerned, like staring at the body, and then they look back at their fellow that's like sliced up between his 2 like iron cages. And as that happens, you take that opportunity to reach down and grab the jacket and pull it up. And as you pull the jacket up, you feel the subtle weight of the rabbi suddenly dissipate, and it's just like poof, dust hits the floor.
That's gross. That sucks. Man, didn't mean to get him killed, but it's probably better than what was going to happen to him.
Now there's another Lasombra in danger somewhere. They just don't know it yet.
Well, that should tell him something. Yeah, then at that point, can I tell what cages are still populated with
The Bruja still up. The Ashira is what you're pretty sure has got fucked up. The Ministry member is still up.
I'm gonna try to make my way back up across the ceiling, and try the same thing I did with the rabbi.
Well, if there's one thing I can say about Lamont, he's definitely one to try to take risks to see how far he can push things to get the mission accomplished, essentially. Now he's going to decide to go back and see who else he can free. I'm sure some other chaos is going to erupt down there, and while it might start hurting Narissa's plans, they might also fuck up things in the city. We'll see what happens. See you all next episode.